Live, we're live. Welcome back, ladies and gents. We're back here once again, and things are ramping up. I think things are going really well right now. I don't know. Let me know how you feel about things. In the meantime, welcome in, chat. Welcome in. Come on in. We were just getting started, so I don't know if I think I made some mistakes on the preamble of when I'm going to be sending out the live stream. So what's been happening is there's a bit of time dilation because I moved 2 complete time zones away, and because of that, we've got a complete difference in stuff. So when I scheduled it for 7:30, I was like, wait a second, no, it's supposed to be 5:30 Pacific time. I better set that up so it's the right time for everybody, but what have you. We're gonna get things rolling out here. So welcome to the chat. Greetings from California. You guys, it's 5:30 for you. It's 7:30 over here Central Time, but welcome in. We're gonna get things rolling. So a lot of changes have been happening, a lot of differences in things that have been going on, and a lot of different energy here. And I've noticed a lot of people have been saying, "Hey, Clyde, I've noticed a bit of a different energy. Things must be going really well for you in Texas." And yes, I'll say that's an absolute yes on that one. But yeah, folks, if you're jumping in the chat and you're jumping in here, say where you're coming from. Where you're coming from. I want to know because I want to see where YouTube is recommending this out and who's getting this and what people are watching, where they're watching from. Where'd you get your notification? Did it come in from YouTube, or did you just happen to see it on the side of the thing? Are you watching on X, on Rumble, on Facebook? This is going out to a lot of different places. Nanaimo Hole. Yeah, okay, that's a place. I like this time. Yeah, this time works. It works for me. In fact, I could even go earlier, honestly, like 7:30 at night. I mean, it's getting on in the evening. It really is. Over here in Central Time. I know how it's been for you guys now watching all these years over when I've been doing this over in the West Coast. It's a thing. Clyde vitamin D level went up in Texas. Yeah. Oh, you noticed even Jasmine was like, Clyde tanned Clyde. It's a good looking Clyde. Loving it. Yeah, getting a lot of sun. It's definitely a thing. That's definitely a thing. Los Angeles, California. I used the notify button and actually got a notification for a change. No kidding. I think some people are actually starting to get notified now because I've been doing things on the regular. It's been a while. Took a bit of a break because traveling to Japan, traveling back to Canada, then to Texas, then back to Canada, then back home to Texas. That's been the thing. And then, and then there was a big, long process for getting my stuff down here, which was a nightmare. And I'm going to be doing a video on the channel about that because there's a lot of people that want to make this move, and believe me, I want you to be able to live all the horrors vicariously through me and then not have to do it yourself. That would be fantastic. So some of the ins and outs of that. Good evening, everyone from Ontario. Welcome, Jordan. Elbows up before face down. That's right. That's right. Lamau. Hey, buddy. Windsor, Sarnia, Ontario, brother. You know me. Yep. We know each other. Absolutely. Brothers from the little Detroit, the Canadian knockoff Detroit, California. Well, a lot of Californians in the chat tonight. So many Californians out here in Texas as well. That's been kind of the I guess what a lot of people say here is like, oh yeah, there's a lot of Californians out here. I wish they would leave California in California when they came out. That's definitely a thing. This is what I've been encouraging people. Come down to the US. If you're Canadian, do it legally, obviously. But when you come, leave all that behind. Leave the ideology and everything behind. A lot of you, if you're coming down here, you probably want to anyway, but there's still the lingering things. So take note on the culture. That's a thing. Clyde, welcome home. I feel right at home here. My man, absolutely, Bobby. Thank you so much. Mississauga, Ontario, right on, right on. Happy Friday for sure. Lloydminster, Saskatchewan, great place. The battle-born state of Nevada, awesome. I see that the U.S. audience is growing. It's growing. It's happening. It's inevitable. But I will continue to talk about Canadian stories. I think this is important. I honestly think this is very important that Americans learn about what's happening in Canada. I'm going to talk more and more, progressively more, not in a progressive way, but progressively more about the United States and what's happening here in the United States. But it's always going to have a little bit of a tinge of, I came from communism where it was a free country and it turned into communism. And I want to tell you how we can avoid this as a people. This is definitely a thing for all of us. American married to a Canadian living in Ottawa the last 8 years. I hate it. Trying to get my wife to move to Texas. Come on down. Come on down. Honestly, I would love to have you as a neighbor. I'm going to. One thing, because, we're just kind of settling down now, but we're gonna be, I want to venture out. I'm a pretty personable person. I don't get scared of whatever crowds and all of that stuff. Marty and I, we've done some meetups and things like that. I would love to put together an expat crowd here in Texas. I think that would be awesome. We could have chapters all over the place, all over America, but it would be really, really fun to have a crowd in the Austin area, to have every once in a while have like a meetup, a night out. Talk about what it's like to adjust to freedom. Oh, what? Kingston, Ontario. Unfortunately, my wife is giving up her USA citizenship. What? Why? That's like throwing a lottery ticket in the garbage, a winning lottery ticket. Wow, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'd love to move to the U.S. The only way I can move is to get sponsored. I don't have the money for a business. Well, get working. This is one of those things, like, you don't have to have money to buy a business, but you could build a business. You can definitely build a business where you're at. And the worst case scenario, say if the worst case, it doesn't work and you can't get immigration, you've built a business and you've gotten experience and you've done all this great stuff. I definitely encourage it. Hi, Clyde. Happy faces. Trump should just finish Canada. Give us 150 or 500% tariffs. Take us to our knees and make us a 51st state. I'm tired of suffering. So here's the thing. America doesn't want the Republicans definitely don't want Canada as a 51st state. But possibly, Canada fails completely. I could see it becoming a territory of the United States of America, which would make it, not super easy to immigrate, but, it might make it easier, actually, because right now the relations between the two countries, in fact, the relations between the two countries have been so terrible for so long. I can't even believe it. Trump has something on Carney. You think so? One of my favorite Canadians, right behind Andy Ashton over at the Kinko Casino. Okay. All right, thank you. Appreciate that. The DNC is going bankrupt because there is less USAID moolah to the gangsters. Yeah, absolutely. And it's so funny, like USAID gets basically dismantled, and then within like 6 months, the entire South American political landscape turns to the right. It goes politically right. Like, what? I don't know. Perhaps there's something to do with that. Unbelievable. Yeah, that's just incredible. The fact that that's a thing. In fact, what's happening in South America right now? I thought, there was something here. Let me pop this one up. I want to make sure I got it on the right screen here. But Glenn Beck was talking about this. Apparently, Javier Milei had another awesome idea for governance in Argentina. Trump should impose the same laws in Argentina that President Javier Milei just introduced. If politicians run a deficit, they stop getting paid. That's right. Let's do it now.
Javier Milei has dramatically changed Argentina. Dramatically. Listen to his fiscal shackle law that he just passed. Listen to this.
This reform won't work on its own. It's part of a broader program that includes a reform we've called the fiscal shackle, a capital market reform, and an insurance market reform, which I will now proceed to explain. Regarding the fiscal shackle, it's a permanent fiscal rule that will ensure Argentina cannot vote for or maintain a deficit budget. Why do we need a law, and why isn't the goodwill of Congress enough? Because history has taught us that Congress is the great ally of public spending, with last year being a recent example when we fought tooth and nail against dozens of laws that sought to trigger the state's bankruptcy. The thing is, politicians have no incentive to look out for the pockets of Argentines because they're never the ones who pay the price.
Exactly.
That's why this project will ensure that whoever causes the damage finally pays for it. In practice, the fiscal shackle will work like this. If the fiscal result is in deficit for several consecutive months, Congress will have a few weeks to bring the accounts back into balance. If it doesn't, an automatic shutdown will go into effect. Non-essential state activities will be halted, new spending will be frozen, no contracts will be awarded, no staff will be hired, and discretionary transfers to the provinces will be stopped. And most importantly, for the duration of the shackle, the president, vice president, senators, deputies, ministers, secretaries, and undersecretaries won't receive a single peso of their salary. For the first time in our history, if politicians don't do their job, the politicians will pay the price, not the people.
That's awesome.
Amen. Amen, amen, amen.
Yeah.
Why can't we have some common sense stuff like that? The Congress and the Senate needs to pay the price, not you. They're the ones. I mean, I got to tell you, I think that...
And not even just not you. I mean, we're talking about future generations, right? We're talking about future generations that aren't even born that are supposed to pay this debt. You're talking about people who haven't even immigrated to the country yet that may immigrate, decades later, and they'll have to pay the debt. Like, this is just absolutely hogwash. No, that's debt, stacking on debt is taxation without representation. Absolutely. Because you're taxing the people way into the future. You're going to collect those taxes to pay that debt off way into the future. No, this is absolutely terrible. No, you can't just keep that up. You absolutely can't keep that up. And this is a great method in order to make sure that this doesn't happen.
Oh, as your cost of living goes up, their salary goes down. If your salary goes up and the cost of living is keeping up with that, I mean, so you're actually making money, your salary is going up and the cost of living is coming down, then they should be able to get a raise or they should be able to keep it. The more trouble this country is in fiscally, the lower their salary should be. Because
yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd absolutely agree with that. But the thing that he got into, Javier Milei gets into, that I think that was more important than their salaries, because I think these politicians don't really give a crap about their salaries, right? You're talking about a salary of a couple $100,000 a year when they're embezzling millions, right? They're embezzling millions of dollars, and they're doing this on debt. They don't give a crap about their salaries, and that's why Milei doesn't just get into the salaries here. He's talking about transfers between provinces of the country. He's talking about expenditures. All of that gets halted. No hiring. There's no more hiring. Nothing occurs until it goes back to fiscal responsibility. I think this is freaking amazing, and I think this is gonna put Argentina on the map once again for the first time in probably over 80 years. Because they were once the bastion of economic freedom, and then slowly got taken over by socialists, and that's the way things work in that capacity. What do we got here? We got one from The Shift Hit the Fan for $10. Thank you so much, my man. Says, hey, thanks for the follow, my man. Appreciate the shout out from your two guests last show. Clyde, first Facebook follower secured. Love you, buddy. Well, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. I'm just trying to get off the ground on Facebook. I had no idea, because you've been watching the show for a long time, and I knew about you, but I didn't know about your Facebook following. So, hey, shout outs, big shout outs. The shift has hit the fan over on Facebook. big following, lots of good memes and conservative points and news that's out every single day. So go check that out. And while you're at it, follow me over on Facebook as well. Links are I think the link's in the description down below. But yeah, absolutely. No problem. Big shout outs every day of the week for sure. Wow. Okay, where are we at with this now? Good for him. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Hey there, Clyde Do Something and Peter from Edmonton. Oh, big shout outs to my moderator, Peter, in here, making sure that people are keeping just, keep it chill. Keep it chill in the chat. You guys ever notice the biggest Marxist are the rich and usually Nepo babies that never worked? Marx died one of the richest Europeans. Avi Lewis, millionaire. Mamdani, Bernie Sanders, all of them. Funny thing about Bernie Sanders, I showed that meme just the other day. It was, a group photo of everyone that's been, I'll pull it up. I might as well pull it up. It's in the Discord. By the way, if you want to join the Discord, head on over. I think we need to make a new link because we did that last week. Okay, let me just make a link for everybody so everybody can go join the Discord. Invite to server, copy that hidden link, close that. I'll put this in the chat. Peter, make sure you get a copy of that one so you can just link to more people later in the show. Put that out everywhere. But if you want to join the Discord server, there's the link. Come on in. After the live stream, we often jump in there. We're all having wobbly pops. If you're not having a wobbly pop, that's fine. You don't have to, but it's Friday. It's Friday. Have yourself one. I have mine in my trusty styrofoam cup with plastic straw because America, because freedom. And that just makes more sense. It's not sweating all over my table. So I enjoy that. But have yourself yours and head on over to the Discord. We like to do that. Chat over there. If you don't know what Discord is, it's just another social media platform. But they do have really, really good voice and video stuff that what am I saying here? Am I stumbling here? They have voice and video chat, so it's really good afterwards if you want to jump in and do that. 200 joules from Gwen H. Thank you so much for the sunshine. Really appreciate that. Beers from Alberta. Awesome. Love beers. Love Alberta. Great place. I'll stick down here in Texas for the winter, though. I'll definitely be sticking down here. Where was I looking? I was looking for memes. So there's the Bernie Sanders meme. That's the one I was looking for. Somebody shared that recently. It really just cracked me up. Open media link. So here's the it's all tiny. Let's get this going. Bernie Sanders, a group photo of everyone who was Bernie Sanders lifted out of poverty with socialism. That's right. Socialism's a grift, folks. Like, it's crazy how people don't see it, but well, people just, they listen to it's a few things for a few different people, right? It's the ideology of envy, and then it's the ideology of, like, it's the 2-year-olds that would come up with an ideology of, like, why don't we just share? If everybody just shared, everything would be great. Well, just get with it. People don't want to share, and there needs to be mechanisms to make sure that things are fair and not, just taking things away from people. Clyde, talk about the heat here. Pretty rough. Is it? So I've been told for so long that when you go to Texas, oh man, when you get to Texas, it's gonna be crazy. It's the summer, and I get to Texas, I'm like, well, it's hot. It's hot, but like, I think it's bearable. I think I can deal with this. And then immediately everyone's like, yeah, well, it is kind of the most mild summer we've had in a very long time. Oh, so I'm not really even getting the real Texas heat then. I haven't even experienced the real Texas heat yet because yeah, it's a pretty mild summer. Now, mind you, yesterday I was out barbecuing and it was 103 degrees outside. So, that's hot. That's really hot. And but I like it. I like it. As long as you have a house with air conditioning, you survive it. I see it as like kind of reverse winter, but better. It's way better than being like in Canada in the winter. I'm not gonna lie. And even in the West Coast, I'm not even talking about like Alberta, Saskatchewan winters that you guys put up with, where it's like minus 40 and windy. No, not 103 Celsius. No. 103 Fahrenheit, which is, I don't know, like 38 degrees or 39 degrees, something like that. I mean, yeah, it's hot. It's hot. But yeah, it's like it's reverse winter. So everybody wants to stay inside. Everybody's like, it's too hot. I'm not going outside. So they stay inside. They stay indoors. Just like in Canada, everyone's like, it's too cold. But then you still have to go to work. And that's painful. 39C. There you go. 39C. That's what it was. 103 degrees yesterday in Freedom Units. And it was very hot. It was very hot. I find the best time, like if you can get yourself out in the morning, get out there, go do something. And then when the sun goes down, get out in the evening, go do something. Right in the midday sun, brutal. It's hot. Go outside and exercise. That's tough. Go to the pool. That's awesome. Go to the gym indoors. I mean, it is what it is. It's very hot. It is very hot. Hi, Clyde. Another one from Nanaimo. Awesome. I've been once. I've been through Nanaimo a bunch of times, but I've been once to the Conservative Convention in Nanaimo for the British Columbia Conservative Party. And we went out at night, and it was half of it was kind of sketchy, and then it was like really dead most places. It was strange. Summerland, BC, so glad to see you. So glad to see you, Jennifer. Thank you so much for joining. You need a palm Christmas tree, Clyde. That's not a bad idea. I was thinking about getting a lemon tree. There is times in Texas, though, where it does get frosty. So I was talking to the person at the nursery where you can get plants and stuff, because we like gardening. And they said, lemon trees do really well, but if you can, bring them inside when the frosts come. Clyde, are there mosquitoes? Very few. Just going to tell you right now. I thought I was going to get down here because I just associate hot weather with bugs. Yeah, I'll tell you. Not a lot of them. Midday, like afternoon, like right around 5 o'clock, when that sideways sun comes roasting at you and you're out on your patio trying to do some like dinner or whatever. I'm going to get an awning, by the way, just for that. There's all these like little house flies that fly around. There'll be like 5 or 6 of them like landing on your legs, bugging you. That's a thing. And then a little later, you might see some mosquitoes, but no, I have not been experiencing lots of bugs. It's not a thing. Not a thing, not where I'm at. And fire ants too. Yes, fire ants are a thing. I've not yet run into them. Lizards. Little lizards all over. They're everywhere. They get in your house. You put them catch them in a little thing and then throw them outside. Let them do their thing. Yeah, little geckos and stuff. That's the only thing. Scorpions, check your boots. Okay, so scorpions are here, but I haven't seen one. And African killer bees, I don't know about that. But yeah, scorpions. I've talked to locals and they're like, yeah, scorpions are here, but in the 40 some odd years I've lived here, I've probably seen like 1 or 2. That's the thing. Lizards eat the bugs. Yep, there you go. Lizards are great. Yeah, I don't shoo the lizards away. I just don't want them in my bedroom. Is all. So, lizard, get out of here. Catch them. Clyde, are you allergic to bees? You're allergic to fire ants. Oh, if you're allergic to bees, you're allergic. I'm not. Nobody in my family is allergic to bees, so we're good. Someone remind Clyde to go buy some OP snake shot for his 9mm. Clyde has upgraded to a man's caliber yet. Come on. Yeah, we gotta have a 45. Man, the FUDs in the audience always. You always gotta have one or two. I love the 45 caliber. Believe me, I think it's a fun caliber, and I'm gonna own probably there's gonna be a few that I buy. I mean, because I'm a big fan of the OG 1911, not like any of the new 2011s thing. I just want an OG 1911 GI, nothing fancy, no a stiletto or anything like that. No, I do want to get like an OG 1911. I just love shooting them. I love shooting 45. I just don't think it's a practical carry thing. I don't need it. Big slow ball ammo. I guess if you put your snake shot in there, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, but they're like little. They look like pill bottles. Try to pick up a picture of this. Now we're getting into guns, and the chat's gonna explode with gun stuff right now. I love it. It's fine because we can talk about guns because I love guns. And what is it? 45 snake shot. Snake shot caps. Let's see if we can get a picture of them. They look like pills. I think it's hilarious. They look like those like slow release pills that will, absorb, last the whole night, that kind of thing. Here's you know what I'm talking about? So they got these, and it's in 45 caliber. You can get them in all the different calibers, though. You can get 9mm ones. But yeah, it's got shot. It's a little tiny pistol caliber shot thing. I think that's 45 auto right there. This is what, 45 for a revolver. That's a strange one. But dangerous to scroll on Google image search on a live stream. I'm gonna get away from doing that. That's the thing. But yeah, pew 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 pew. Did America just dump money into Japan so they don't sell debt? Don't know. I don't know. Is that something that happened? Yeah, if Japan sold off all their debt, that would be really awful, actually. That would be detrimental to the U.S. economy as a whole. I'm not gonna lie. That's definitely a thing. Another thing about Japan was in the news today. What was it? I gotta share this because it's just too funny. I think a lot of you'll crack up. The whole Muslim values or Canadian values. Well, I don't know if that's true, but apparently, because this is a commonplace thing that you see in Japan. I used to live there, right? I lived there for 3 years, and I actually ran into a photographer once, and he had an art exhibit. He had a photography exhibit out, and he had all these pictures of salarymen. Like in Japan, a salaryman is just a guy, like a office worker guy, suit and tie. Office dude. They call him salarymen. And he had all these pictures. He thought he was going to win a Pulitzer Prize because he's like, oh my goodness, I keep finding myself in this lucky position to see this incredible sight of like salarymen just drunk and falling over or just like sleeping in the middle of a crosswalk or at the train station. And he had this exhibit, and then it turns out it's just like a normal thing. And yeah, I mean, it's just a thing that happens all the time, and it's a cultural thing. It happens for a few reasons. Connor for $10. Thank you so much. Hey Clyde, my wife and I are expecting to move to the US, and Texas is a state we're looking at. I'd like to know what your experience with the extreme weather in Texas, tornadoes, heavy wind, etc. Well, I would say I don't have a lot of experience with extreme weather. I mean, we've had a few storms here in the past like month that I've been here. A lot of people will tell you like, yeah, there's hurricanes that come in September. They largely hit Houston area. They can come up towards central Texas. There's flash floods. Depends on your neighborhood and stuff. Like, stay away from the lowlands. Perhaps like where I live is higher up. Yeah, Austin, even like the Austin area even gets flash floods. I noticed when I was choosing the place to live, Austin area is kind of where a lot of the storms brew, and then they move northeast towards Dallas and Fort Worth. And when a lot of tornadoes touch down, it's like on that that stretch from here through Waco and Dallas Fort Worth. So if that's a concern for you, maybe don't go right in Tornado Alley. I don't know. It seems like, and I talked to a bunch of locals here. They say, because I was like, it looks like a lot of storms happen here, and then they move over there, and they're like, yeah, that's pretty much how it goes down. But yeah, every once in a while there would be like torrential downpours that cause flash flooding. So I'd watch out for that. Don't get a place in a valley. That's maybe the best advice there. Anyway, back to the story. So Japanese people that are they would pass out all over the place. Now, it's just normal, and the reason why it happens is because there's this like social pressure to go drinking with the boss. If the boss is like, we're all going drinking tonight, and then everyone's like, I don't want to go. You can't be that nail that sticks out of the floorboard. That's the old expression they have. The nail that sticks out of the floorboard gets hammered down. So you'll be on the outs if you're like an outcast. You don't want to be on an outcast. So everybody has this social pressure to just go along, to get along. Remember that, Canada? Remember how that is and how that's not great? Yeah, Japan's got a similar thing, but it's even more extreme. And so people will go out even though they can't drink, and then they're like, their boss is handing them drinks. They're like, okay. And then they get way too drunk, and then boom, next thing you know, people are sleeping on the streets, and it happens all the time, and it's hilarious. So this tweet, actually, who was it? It was a friend of mine sent me this tweet and said, I'd love to hear your take on this. A Muslim man asked, or a Muslim asked, why can't you drink in public in Japan, but Muslims can't pray in public? Because it's our country. That's why, says this Japanese guy. It's really just that simple. We make the rules, not you. Now get out. People are frustrated. They're tired with the Muslim community pushing their ways onto other people in Japan, and they've had enough, right? They've had enough. To which I replied to this. I said, because nobody's ever had a few drinks and then flew a plane into the Trade Center. That's just, it's one of those things. I don't know. I love the First Amendment. I could say these things in America. Perhaps you can't in Canada, but we'll see where things go with all this. That's a no-brainer for me in general. Anyway, let's have a see here. We got another one. Grofty for $10. Thank you so much. It says honk honk. Glad you're in the U.S., my friend. Been following randomly since the convoy. May you find a great life here. Respect our laws, LOL. Welcome. Of course, I'll respect the laws. The laws are way better here. They are fantastic. Well, thank you so much. I love the. Is that actually you, or you just look like Snowden? That's amazing. Yeah. Since the convoy, that's really cool. That's really cool. I wonder how many people still watch the show from those days back then. Things have changed a lot. Things have changed a lot in Canada. Things have changed on a lot of people's perspectives. But I've definitely stuck to my guns on the libertarian approach. Absolutely, what's this? Lore. Oh, saying hi to Lore. Yeah, I just kept my libertarian approach to things. And I don't mean those weird... okay, Snowden PFP. There you go. Profile picture. And I don't mean the weird left-leaning libertarians. The reason why I say libertarian is because I don't want to say liberal, right? Because liberal, the term has been just tainted so terribly. You could say classical liberal. Like, I'm right along the same page as the founding fathers. Like, I'm very in tune with like what they wrote, what they believed, and that's what I believe. A lot of this modern government stuff, I think, is out to lunch. Technocracy and all this other stuff. It's not people. Well, they didn't predict all the. Yeah, get out of here. They watched empires come and go. They read the history of empires coming and going. They thought. Did they think that people were gonna get fat and lazy and sit in front of a screen all day long? Like, maybe not. I don't know, but like different technology had been invented. It's crazy. Libertarians are different from liberal. So I would say like I'm a Ron Paul type libertarian, not what's his name, Smith. What's his name? The famous podcast. I drawn a blank on his name. I feel bad. But I'm more of like a have your melee type libertarian or along those lines. Liberal Party of Canada hijacked the word liberal. Well, so did the Democrats, and they hijacked the term Democrat as well. Joe Rogan, he's I mean, he even says himself that he doesn't really paint himself in one way or another. I had a clip of him actually just saying that. Let's find that clip. I think that might be this clip, which I opened in the wrong window. Here we go. Is this the clip? Maybe. Let's have a listen. This is him talking about Mamdani.
The other weird thing that Mamdani's done is make a list of all the people that are rich. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He like released a list of all the people that may have to pay more taxes. It's like, hey, what are you doing? You just made a list of targets, and you're putting these people in a bad position. Like that seems really crazy to do. The other weird thing that Mamdani...
Okay, he doesn't say it in that clip, but that is crazy. He's discussing what happened with Mamdani, and here's another segment of him talking about this specifically. It might be in this clip, because I've seen a few clips lately, and I remember him saying it specifically, something about his political stance.
But there's so much on the left that's so insane when it comes to contradictions. One of my favorite new ones is the Mamdani grocery stores. They said, how are you going to ensure that people from New York have access to this grocery store? Well, they're going to have to show ID.
But not to vote.
Yes.
But not to vote.
But how crazy is it that your checkers game is so shitty that you're like, oh yeah, here we go. And people are like, do you know what you just did?
Yeah.
Do you know what you just did?
Put yourself a checkmate.
Jesus fucking Christ, that is the dumbest thing I've ever seen anybody say when you just
I gotta get on the censor button for those things.
got done saying that you don't want people to show ID for voting. Because it'll affect,
Disenfranchise them.
especially poor people. They're talking about poor people and people of color, which are the people that you would think the poor people are the ones who are going to use your grocery stores. So you're going to disenfranchise them from getting access to your 30% off groceries.
You know what's bizarre about that argument?
They
too?
won't ask for ID. Meaning New Yorkers can buy cheap goods. So, but they asked him today, and that was what he indicated, that they were...
Okay, so I gotta set the record straight on this one. So he comes back and he says, no, we won't ask for ID. So they didn't say they would ask for ID. Have a listen to what's actually said in this conference.
How are you going to keep people from taking advantage of that, that deal, basically? And is there going to be a limit on the number of items that someone can take that are discounted at that level from that essential basket?
So our RFP makes very clear that this is a program for New Yorkers to be able to put food on the table, not a program for people to be able to make a quick buck through reselling. I'm going to pass it over to our EDC head, GPAC, to add some additional details.
Okay, so this is the concept of gouging, right? Gouging in an emergency or something like that. A lot of socialists will bring up this concept, and I get it. You don't want to artificially lower the price with tax dollars and then have people come in, purchase that stuff, and then resell it and basically have bootleg stuff and then make a profit at market value. This is a problem. Now, we could get into the discussion of why banning price gouging in emergencies like what would you call it, like storm relief and things like that, how it's actually detrimental to the people at the end of the day. Because what some people will do is, like, if there's a hurricane that happens and in Texas or in Florida or Louisiana, and people in like neighboring states, say they're in Oklahoma or they're in the Carolinas or they're in Georgia or somewhere, and they're like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to buy up a bunch of generators. I'm going to put them in the back of my truck, and I'm going to drive down there, and then I'm going to sell them at a markup. People will call that price gouging, and it's not. It's them providing a service because they're actually like transporting the stuff down there. They're going to make a buck. That's capitalism. It works. It's great. And then people end up with more generators than they would have out of in the emergency, because then, you know, all the Costco's and all these other places run out of these services. But the COVID toilet paper, that's another one. There you go. So that's another situation. But here's where they come in and they rationalize this for it's not ID. Have a good listen.
Yes, if you look at our RFP for the operator, we are looking to make sure that we target New Yorkers, whether it be at sort of a library card-esque thing, and also we manage who's buying.
She didn't even finish her sentence. It'll be like a sort of library card-esque ID. An ID. So it's not a government ID, but how do you get your library card? Where you're going to have to show government ID. You're going to have to show a utility bill of some sort or whatever. So it's more than ID. It's more than ID. And then you'll get your library card or whatever. And then you'll be able to shop at these bodegas. This is socialism. And then they come out and they say, no, that's not what we said. Oh, okay. And then, you know, people like Joe Rogan will be like, oh, that's not what they said. I guess that's different.
Meaning New Yorkers can buy cheap goods. So, but they asked him today, and that was what he indicated, that they were going to find out whether or not you're actually from New York. Well, how else are you going to do that?
How else are you going to do
You have
that?
to have ID.
I think this is just a response to the reaction,
It
like
is.
saying that. August 3rd, which is today, right?
Yeah.
But like I said, it's worse than just an ID. It's definitely worse. Holy cow. Thank you so much, Grofty. I really appreciate it. Gifting 10 memberships to the channel. If you're one of those people in that list right there that just got a membership to the channel, well, give Grofty a big thank you. Thank you so much. That's very generous of you. Holy cow. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. That's awesome. But yeah, so this is how this works.
Right. So this is what they said after what he said. So what he said was yesterday. So there's probably a massive blowback where people realize how crazy it is to say that.
Okay, I was looking for the clip where Rogan was talking about his ideology. Maybe this clip? I have a bunch lined up, right?
We were talking about fraud with old people that I just found out recently. I was listening to Michael Easter. Do you know who he is? He was talking about the blue zones. You know those blue zones where, as you light a cigarette, where everybody lives to be 100 because they only eat vegetarian or they
Like
eat
the
shellfish
Japanese?
and the Japanese. Massively based on fraud.
Okay, this is not the clip again, but this is actually a really good clip, so have a listen to this.
Really?
Yeah, massively based on fraud. The numbers, especially in certain areas, are massively based on people who die and they don't report their death. This is in Okinawa. They're talking about that. Blue zones are bad data. These locations aren't hotbeds of 100-plus-year-old people. The wild story of fraud and bad data. Michael Easter. And so he was on a podcast recently, and he was talking about it and just laying it out, like laying out all the various details. A lot of it in Okinawa in particular, where there is one of the hotbeds, one of the blue zones, it's when people die, they don't report it to the government. And so if this
So they
person
don't have the death rates correct.
right, and this
So then
person's
that brings
getting
the
a
average
check,
up. I
if
see.
you're getting a check and the family gets that check, they just don't report it.
Okay.
So like if they're getting some sort of, whatever it is.
Yeah. So it skews the data to make it look like people live for a very long time, but it's actually just families cashing in on Social Security checks for long after their relative dies, and it makes the demographic population or the age demographics look skewed. And then everybody's like, oh my goodness, well, what are they eating? Because I want to eat that. Turns out it's just BS. Anyway, the clip that I was looking for was a clip where Joe Rogan's actually talking about the fact that a lot of people think he's conservative just because he has a lot of discipline in his life. And discipline is one of those things that's associated with conservatism. And for good reason. I mean, like if you look at it, like conservatives have an idea of, I want to be self-reliant. I want no one to take care of me. In order to do that, you have to have discipline. And a lot of people who don't have discipline they tend to lean towards the ideology of the left, especially like Karl Marx. I said it in a video recently. Karl Marx had no discipline. He was born rich. He just like he was a journalist of all things. He was not even a real journalist. Yeah, that's right. And what did he do? He came up with a political ideology of envy because that's what he felt. He felt envy to people who had that discipline, and that's exactly that's right, Yutaka. Discipline, Eureka discipline. That's definitely a thing. Oh, that was the clip. Anyway, Waniska, for $5, do you think AI will save us or hurt us? I think AI is not going to be what people think it is on either side of the aisle. I think that what is it? AI. There's a lot of like the Klaus Schwab types, the Grand Q-tip, the old Cotton Schwab. A lot of people like him that think it's gonna replace the proletariat, and that everybody's gonna be a bunch of useless eaters. Well, that never took place. That never happened in all of the other times when the aristocratic class said that farming equipment was gonna replace there's going to be a bunch of useless eaters. Then, that's the agrarian. And then there was the industrial revolution, and that was going to get rid of all the useless eaters, or that was going to cause a bunch of useless eaters. No, people just move into different enterprise. I mean, human wants are infinite. Time and resources are finite. So we have to economize this. We get distortions when people pretend like there's a plethora of stuff to go around and you can just, get stuff for nothing. That's the whole concept behind socialism. But no, what's going to end up happening is it's going to free a lot of people up to do different things. So AI is going to, we're going to have offices of right now where we have an office of paralegals for one lawyer or a handful of lawyers, you're going to have, one or two paralegals working with AI, and that's what's going to happen. All those people are going to get laid off, and then they're going to have to find other things to do. But I mean, look at all the different career choices that are out there today. I mean, if anybody told me when I was young, yeah, I know you're going to want to be a mechanic and you're going to be a car guy for a long time, but then you're going to get into this thing where you talk to people on the internet, and then you're going to be able to earn a living doing that. And I would tell you, you're crazy. You're totally crazy. But this is the life. This is what's happening. So this is what's going to happen moving forward. People are going to find different things, different avenues, different things that they'll get into. And there's always going to be an infinite amount of wants. People are going to want different things, services, products, what have you. And people will just find themselves into new career fronts and opportunities and approaches. And I think that's exactly where things are going to go when it comes to that. I hope that answers that question enough or well. But I wanted to get into some of what's happening in Canada before I bring my guest in, because I have a great guest tonight who's going to be talking about his whole situation, about where he's going from Canada to the United States, and that's going to be a lot of fun. But let's get into some of these Canadian stories before we get into all of that. Before I get into that, we've got one from Spare Keys YouTube channel for $2. Says, imagine if we used AI to improve mental health. Well, that would be fantastic, wouldn't it? That would be awesome. And you sent a second one. Thank you for the second one. I really appreciate that. But yeah, let's to help improve mental health. I think the things that come out of the free market are going to benefit people way more than what comes out of the government. So AI is one of these things that come out of the market. I don't think that it's going to turn into the thing that murders us all. I don't think that. Jam, member for 18 months, says, my Japanese grandpa is almost 103. His mom was 105. But I don't know if that's because of Okinawa or whatever. Anyway, yes, some people live a long time. I mean, what was it? George Burns? I mean, smoked a cigar, drank whiskey every day, lived to 100 and something? Unreal. And then he was still doing comedy in his 90s. That's freaking awesome. Some people just have the good genes. Make it. Clyde, we're here for the freedom vibes. We already know how big a shithole Canada is. Let us live vicariously. Okay, but we can have laughs too, vicariously. So I think that's something that we can do. I want to have a laugh at the CBC because it's just so crappy crazy. It's unbelievable. So this is an article that I noted. Why am I over here? Let's go over here. So I noted this one. Government-run propaganda quietly their outlet quietly changing its headlines as to not get sued into oblivion by the president of the United States of America, Donald Trump. So this is I did a story about this, but it was after I finished the story that they actually changed the headline. So this is the original headline. Trump calls Canadians nasty people during Las Vegas speech. Now, did he do that? No, he didn't do that. No, he called Canadians. Did I X that out? No, I just went to the wrong one. He called the Canadian leadership nasty. But, of course, the CBC jumps to that. And, of course, like down the article, they correct the record, but it's the headline that matters. Canada has nasty leadership, they changed it to. They knew because it was only out for a few hours. I made this video, and by the time the video is finished, somebody in the comments was like, "Yeah, by the way, they changed the title of the article." It's just outrageous what they do. But this is the game that they play. Now we're in a situation where Canadians have done all that they can to piss off the Americans, piss off America, and guess what? Carney folding one more time. We got Sasquatch Chronicles for $4.99. Thank you so much. It says Carney is Canada's tyrant king. He's Canada's tyrant king, but he is America's footstool. He does what he's told. You better believe it. And it doesn't matter how proud and whatever Canadians get with their dumb rhetoric, or they go out on the street like a bunch of drunken idiots, like this video here. I absolutely love this one. This is just so funny.
We'll have a president like Donald Trump who's a fucking racist or he doesn't support women's rights, which I don't like at all. Donald Trump's a bitch, what he is.
What makes you proud to be Canadian?
Nothing. I don't
Let's
even
be
care.
on the button,
Why
by
aren't
the
you
way.
proud to be Canadian?
I am proud to be Canadian, so don't say I'm not.
So that's how dumb these people can be.
You just said you weren't.
No, I don't even know what I was saying. But listen, I'm just going to tell you one thing. We are grateful because we don't have Donald Trump in this country. Donald Trump, I will go on and on about this. Donald Trump's a fucking loser, fucking bitch. Know what he's talking about, okay? So tag me in this right now.
So tag me. She's proud of this. Tag me in this right now. That's exactly it. Now, it's not just that. It doesn't just get to drunk idiots on the street in Canada. No, they brought this to the public, and they even did polls on this one, which is just absolutely ridiculous. And of course, Mark Carney is folding on this. Canada prepared to halt booze bans to meet other U.S. demands in exchange for tariff relief. Let's just be honest here. It's just absolutely insane what they thought they would get away with here. So have a listen here. So defending American workers and ensuring fair trade. This is from the White House. That's right. This is from the President of the United States. Today, President Donald Trump just signed 3 proclamations pursuant to Section 338 of the Tariff Act of 1930. This is a couple of weeks ago. To impose additional 50% tariffs on certain goods of Canada in response to Canada's discriminatory treatment of American products. By doing so, President Trump is offsetting the burden and disadvantage on U.S. commerce from Canada's discriminatory treatment of U.S. commerce and is leveling the playing field for crucial American exports, cars, alcohol, and dairy. Now, I'm not gonna, it's not a stretch to say that, let me just tell you, Americans don't give a They don't. They just don't care about any of this stuff, which is like mildly amusing to a lot of Americans, but at the end of the day, they just don't give a That's it. So let me just show you. This is Pete Hoekstra, who's talking about this. Just, like I wish more Canadians would just get this through their heads. And you're right. You're right. When it's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing because at the end of the day, the only people that the Prime Minister of Canada, Doug Ford, David Eby, all these other nobody remembers your damn name because who cares who you are, politician, wobbly canoe or whatever the hell that guy's name is in Middle Canada. Like nobody cares. Nobody cares. And it has no effect on the lives of Americans. Maybe, Jack Daniels is like, oh, crap, we're down 5% this year on sales, whatever, and it's not, and that's just like, it wouldn't be worldwide. There wouldn't be the company wide. It would just be like, oh, in the North American section of whatever, they're down. But, sales to I don't know, Argentina are way up because they're doing gangbuster. And guess what? We got a brand new market over in Vietnam, and they're buying tons of stuff. And also now we got a brand new market in other places. What was it? Indonesia. Great trade deal from Donald Trump. Now Europe is allowing more of our products into Europe because of Donald Trump. So yeah, okay, Canada, you got a bit of alcohol sales away. Most people, they don't even notice. They don't notice. And Hoekstra really points this out here.
For those who think that the midterms are going to have a dramatic impact on this president's policies, I believe they are sorely mistaken. I don't watch much Canadian media, but for a while I did, and I loved all the pundits who came on and started talking about and explaining American politics and explaining Donald Trump. Kind of sit back and say, they're clueless. They don't understand American politics. And they certainly do not understand. They do not understand Donald Trump.
I would go as far to say that like there are a lot of maybe talking heads or politicians in Canada that do understand American politics, but they don't want to let on that they understand American politics. They don't want to let on. They don't want people to know that they get it, and they want to just keep playing this retarded Canadian, I don't know, sorry, I don't have a better word for it. Retarded Canadian political landscape game. Because at the end of the day, it's just like, wow, Canadians think that they're actually going to influence the midterm elections. And here's CBC lamenting the fact that they haven't been able to.
One thing that I think I want to put on the radar for Canadians, and I know that the history would put it that the Democrats would have a very strong turnout in the midterms. The way that the polls are suggesting it, a number of us in the DC Bureau, after doing many trips out into Republican country, I am not convinced that the Democrats are going to do as well in the midterms.
I love how they say Republican country. Why don't you just say America, where the rest of Americans live, like not the coasts? Like, just say that. Sorry.
That the Democrats are going to do as well in the midterms, particularly in the House. I don't think that just based on when we go out and we go talk to people, I know it's very anecdotal. I'm not necessarily convinced that the historic trends that would normally happen in this moment, because it's just the way that Republicans have branded Democrats and the way it's resonated.
The way Republicans have branded Democrats.
In small communities, or even like, anyway, we can talk about this in the second block of the power panel, but I'm not.
See, Katie,
they can't even stay away from their own spin BS when they're doing this stuff. It's not what the Republicans have been doing to brand the Democrats. It's the Democrats. The Democrats have been branding themselves. Lifelong Democrats are walking away from the Democrat Party now. It's so crazy. Lifelong Democrats walking away from the Democrat Party. Why are they walking away from the Democrat Party? Because they come out as like full-on socialists. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. The level that they're coming to, and I don't even know how to express myself on this one. So like they've come out as full on socialists. And guess what? Canada has too. And what are they doing? They brag in the media about how awesome they're doing fiscally. Canada's doing great. Canada's never had, we got so many new jobs. We got all this new everything. JD Vance said it best right here.
Canada and,
Yes.
and other countries that are
Better.
Who's beating us in the G7?
Nobody is
How about
beating us.
Canada? How are they doing?
They're doing
So
terribly.
they want us to copy France, Canada, and,
Yes.
and other countries that are
Better.
Who's beating us in the
Dead last. Dead last in the OECD. Like, it's just so crazy. Canada, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? But this is what's crazy about it, is the fact that Canada can have a propaganda outlet, the CBC News. They can have this to the tune of $1.4 billion per year. I think it was 1.6 during COVID. $1.6 billion. And they'll say, like, well, that's only the government portion. We do get some advertising revenue. Well, who's your biggest advertiser? The government. The government. The government's your biggest advertiser. So if only 70% of your income is government direct payment, and the government comes in with another 30% in advertising to tell everybody, get your shots, get your next vaccine, get your next thing. Like, it's crazy. That's like, you could round that one up from 1.4 to 1.8, probably $1.8 billion. What would the equivalent of that be in the United States? People would freak out. They would lose their freaking minds if they learned that the government, say Donald Trump opened up an agency, a government funded, the Trump news, you know what I mean? Not 1.8 billion dollars. No, he did $18 billion because America's 10 times the size of the economy, or the population anyway, way bigger size economy. Crazy. How would people respond to that? How would the Democrats respond to that? Oh yeah, the president himself. He's made an $18 billion Pravda. People would freak out. It would be unheard of. And yet in Canada, that's your day to day. It's normal. This is what everybody has to deal with. But what do you do? What do you do? You talk about it. You tell people about it on the internet. You say, hey, I hope people will clue in on this, and maybe people will vote a different way in the next election. Is it looking that way? I don't know. The polls are sneaking a little bit back towards the Conservatives, unless you're watching Nick Nanos. And Nick Nanos, he's got this wild swing. Wyatt Claypool and we did a video about this earlier this week. Go check that video out, because Wyatt Claypool is the polls guy. I spent 3 hours in a lineup for a barbecue in Austin, Texas with Wyatt, and he talked about polls for 3 hours. And the guy's amazing. I love the guy, but 3 hours of polls. I mean, that's the thing. But if you want to talk to somebody who knows polls, it's Wyatt Claypool. He'll tell you exactly what's going on. And he was the first one to come out and say that was BS. It was absolute BS. There's no way that was a real poll. It was mostly just BS made up by, Nick Nanos, so that he can shill for the Liberal Party of Canada. And that's where we're at with that. Now, I want to shift over to the next part of the show now here. And thank you so much, chat, for hanging out. And we will be addressing you, chat, as we keep going forward. But I do want to bring in a guest. I want to bring in a guest so we can chat about these things. I need to hold on. Before I do that, I need to make sure that I've got this over in the right window. And things get all tied up. Here we go. Boop. Get rid of that one. Get this one on top. Oh, I'm all mixed up right now. Let me just make sure I've got everything lined up correctly, and I'll get on this, folks. Sorry, mistakes happen. We get all mixed up at some point. Let me get this. Is that right? No, that's not right. Let me move this over. Oh, what have I done? Let me get that flip it over to, yeah, I had it right. I did have it right. What is wrong with me? Anyway, let me get this happening. And I want to bring in my guest. He's also in a similar position to me, American citizen, family in Canada, lived in Canada his whole life, and he's actually come out. Most people keep this quiet, they keep it to themselves. But this guy's come out and he said, you know what? No, I've got to make this happen. And he's even started his own social media to make sure that people know what's going on with the move and how it's going. I want to share this one out, make sure everybody sees this, because this is really important that people share these stories with other people. So our move to the USA, this is a great way to document things, to put it out on YouTube, get people on there. And guess what? What happens when you get things out there? Well, you get a bunch of vitriol. You get a lot of people saying, how dare you? Why would you do this? And then you have all kinds of people championing you. So you're going to have a lot of back and forth. And well, I guess to talk about this, let's just bring him on to the show. Adam, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining me.
Hey, Clyde. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it, brother.
Absolutely. So I want to get right down to brass taxes. Tell us the story. Tell us the story. How did you get to the point where you're like, okay, I'm going to share this sensitive journey? Because now you know just how butthurt and sensitive Canadians can get over this thing, especially right now because of the Trump derangement syndrome that's going on in Canada, which is an epidemic. And if you haven't yet, make sure you get over to the merchandise store where we have the Trump derangement Find a Cure shirts. And how is it that you got to the decision that you're like, I'm done, I'm not gonna live in Canada anymore?
Yeah, I mean, there is many reasons, I guess, like probably the same as you. I think the reasons are very similar. We traveled down so many times to the US, over the last few years, and I spent half my life there. So I came back to Canada in 2012 from the US and kind of started a family here, met my wife, we had our kids. And when I came back, I thought I was coming back to the old Canada. And that wasn't the case, right? We know over the last 12 years, things have changed so dramatically. And, we did our thing. We got good jobs. We have good corporate jobs. And life just caught up. The affordability question here, the opportunity question, how they punish small business, taxes, healthcare, all of those things were, reasons why we decided to make the move back in December of 2025 is when we filed the paperwork for my wife. So we're waiting in Canada right now for her I-130, but the plan is to be in Florida by 2027 this summer.
So what's that process? What's that look like? You got to give your whole life away. You got to tell the government everything about you.
Yeah, absolutely. And we filed everything ourselves too. So I spent months trying to figure out how to file this paperwork myself. So for your audience, the I-130 is a family-based petition, basically. So you're sponsoring your spouse to move down to the US. And it's kind of strange because when you're doing it abroad, it's a little bit different because typically the government is used to you filing in the US as an American citizen. So, there's a lot more correspondence within the US. But when you're doing it abroad, you go through a 3-stage process. You have to go through the consulate in Montreal, which is the only consulate in Canada that processes immigrant petitions. So it's a long process. When we started this, I was thinking maybe 18 months total, but it's shaping up to be longer than that. So we're looking at other pathways to try and figure out how to get there sooner.
So tell me how you came to the decision that you're going to share this with other people. So like I know a lot of people that are going through the same thing, whether they're an American citizen like yourself or myself, trying to do this way. There's some people that are trying to do it through whether different visa programs as Canadian citizens, whether it's EB2, EB3, the L1 visa, businesses purchasing in this kind of thing, or trying to transfer through businesses that they already work for corporate level. But you made this decision. Why did you want to make it so public?
I don't know. When I started looking at things, because I was looking for resources to try and figure out how to do this on my own, because I didn't want to hire a lawyer or do anything like that, but I was looking for a family who had actually lived through the process. And I couldn't find anybody. I searched YouTube, Reddit, Discord, and nothing was coming up. So I said, I don't know. It was January, I think, of this year. And I said, whatever, I'm going to film a video in the basement and talk about what we're doing and just see what the response is. I hadn't had TikTok before. I was against it for the longest time. And I was like, I'm just going to try it. See if there's anybody else out there who's thinking the same way we are. And like you said, maybe looking at an E2 visa or an EB3 or an L1 company transfer. And so we shared that video and it got 500,000 views for the first video, which was insane.
Okay, that's insane.
And you can only imagine why it got that many views, because the hate just rolled in, like 95% elbows up crew, just calling us traitors, wishing death upon our family, all sorts of terrible things, as you probably experienced as well. And that just lit a fire under my ass, really, to just say, okay, we'll start making more videos about this then. And, you know, over the course of the coming months, we got into Instagram a little bit more and YouTube a little bit. I'm just getting better with that now, trying to do some more long form videos. But we have met so many amazing people in this community just doing the same thing. And it's not necessarily the public comments. There's more positive public comments on Instagram than there are on TikTok, but it's the DMs. Like, just constantly every day there has to be 25 to 30 DMs from other families doing the same thing, or they've done it and they're sharing insights with us on this is what we wish we knew. And people who are also asking, like, how do we do it? And I said, we'll keep talking about this because we got to get the information out there. So,
well, I'm going through a bunch of these things, right? Like, I've been working with because I was struggling pretty hard, and then I found my buddy Sandro, who actually introduced you to the two of us. But you know, I thought I could get all of this super easy, but there's so many other things that you don't even think about. Like, oh, okay, where do you get your driver's license? You got no credit in the United States. Like, people don't think this, and I didn't even think this. Oh, like, I had amazing credit in Canada,
right?
But that doesn't mean anything to American banks. They don't care. They don't care. Canada's like this little toy country that exists off in a foreign place, and they just laugh about it. Like, and it's so funny. And like, I get it. I get the inferiority complex that Canadians have, because you're not taken seriously, like in real terms, not taken seriously when it comes to credit, when it comes to mortgages, financing, any of this stuff. You're somewhere else. You're in limbo. So when you come over, it's like all this stuff. Sandro and the bridge have been a tremendous help for me on a number of things that you wouldn't even think of outside of immigration alone. So to have somebody who can document this stuff, here's a perfect example. I didn't even know, and so even Sandro didn't know what to do if you didn't import your car when you come in and just show up. So I didn't import my car. I just drove down and thought, oh, I'll just register it like you would do in Canada, because I'm working the automotive sector. So it's totally different here. You have to import it at the border. And because I didn't do that, I had to end up getting a broker, and it became this whole ordeal. And in Texas, you can't get your driver's license until you've imported your car and registered it and insured it. So like, these things are invaluable lessons, I think, for people online, but people are scared to share them because they're scared to come out in the open because of all this animosity between Canada and the US. There is no animosity the other way around. Let me just be absolutely clear on this one. People either don't care or they just think like, oh, shucks, you know?
Totally, man. That's exactly what we've experienced as well. 95% of Americans have been, maybe even more than that, have been totally positive about our family's move. So supportive. Half of them don't even know I'm a dual citizen anyway, but they're just supportive. They're just supportive of a family doing it the right way, doing it the legal way, doing it in public, so people can actually see what legal U.S. immigration looks like, right? We're so desensitized now to these stories, like the Canadian girl you shared, right? After slapping the teenager in New Jersey. Like, that's what we hear and see. We don't see the people who are waiting years to do it the right way, like whether that be family-based like us or an E2 visa where somebody buys a business, they're creating jobs in the US, they're investing in the US, or an employment-based visa, right? So that's the stuff that people should see, not just the garbage.
Well, that's another thing. So I did a whole video on it today. So it wasn't just that one girl who slapped the girl. So the headlines are going out. Get this. The headlines are going out that this girl slapped someone for wearing Trump clothing. That's not what she was wearing. She was wearing America 250 shorts. Something you could buy at Walmart. You're not getting like Trump goods at Walmart. You're not getting political campaign stuff at Walmart. You can go to the post office and get 250 shirts. You know what I mean? Like it's an American celebration. This Canadian white liberal chick comes up and just slaps her and has an argument with her on a 4th of July thing. Out of the country. Like I people take this stuff for granted, but I did a whole video about the fact that there's a whole, it seems like an endemic thing of liberal white women that are just going to America like as if they're entitled to it. There's a story about some actress lady who got denied entry, then flew to Mexico to try to get into California, and then she was detained, and then it's like a big sob story. Like, do it the legal way, man. Like, you can't stress this enough. There's so many people that try to just skirt the rules that they soil it for everybody. If you just do it the right way, you're welcomed in with open arms.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's the other thing I share too, right? Because I moved down there when I was 13, and I'm always battling with people in the comments about, oh, well, Americans are so arrogant, they're so unwelcoming. And I'm like, this is not the experience I had. Like, my mom and I went down there, and then eventually my sister, and they were so welcoming to us. Like, we still celebrated Canada Day, Canadian Thanksgiving. They were more interested than anything. They wanted to come over and have a second Thanksgiving. They could care less, man. As long as it was done the right way, they could care less.
So, where do you think that comes from? Where do you think any of this comes from? Because, I have my theories about like the origins of Canada and why Canadians, but I'd like to hear your thought. I'll share that with you after, but I want to hear your thought. Where do you think the animosity comes from at all for this? Like, Americans are, Americans, you just said it. Americans are arrogant, braggarts, and all of this other stuff that you hear all the time. It's just not true. So where does it originate?
I think it's probably the schooling system, honestly, a little bit of that. And then more recently, obviously, it's been since the elections, right? We had the Canadian election, we had the 2024 presidential election as well, and then all the animosity. I mean, Pierre was looking like he was going to win in a landslide, and then, we had the issue with the comments about the 51st state, which, in my opinion, I never thought he was doing anything. I think maybe there was a bit of talking behind the scenes there about what he was trying to do, maybe weaken Canada a little bit. Maybe he wanted Carney to be the prime minister. So in my opinion, that's what I kind of think. But ever since then, it has been this hatred towards not just the administration, but more so, like, look at even Doug Ford talking about like pulling the liquor off the shelves and, anti-America, everything. And it's like, they're American people. Like, it's one guy's comment. It's literally a one-off comment where he said the 51st state a few times, but it was never going to happen. And we all know that. But, that's where it's coming from, I think.
Trudeau's joke, though. It was Trudeau that actually brought that one up to Trump in Mar-a-Lago. So they went to Mar-a-Lago, and Trump just said, like, what if we pulled out? Like, what if we just, made it difficult for you? And Trudeau was the one who said, well, then we wouldn't be able to be a country anymore.
Right.
And then he's like, well, maybe you should be a state. You should be a state. And honestly, I empathize a lot with that statement, right? And I do a lot because I understand the political landscape. And I don't think enough Canadians understand this because they don't understand what sovereignty is. And it's because they got big sugar daddy to take care of them all the time Like the Canadian experience is this: well, we're fun loving and we're the North and we're eccentric and we live in the cold. But yeah, that's great. So do people in Nebraska and Wisconsin, right? But they still pay federal taxes that take care of the military. It pays for your protection against foreign entities trying to invade. It pays for trade routes all around the world, and this is where the money comes from. It comes from American taxpayers, and Canada gets a free ride all the damn time. And I, for one, have seen this for a very long time, and I'm surprised that a president finally came out and spoke freely about it. And of course, it feels like a narcissistic response. Like you get like these crazy narcissistic people, and they'll have like an overblown response to something that's just true, and it's like, well, maybe you should start paying rent because you've been sleeping on the couch for 7 months, and it's like, I can't believe you'd even bring that up. It's like, well, yeah, we're bringing it up because you're in a nuisance at this point. So Canada has not been contributing to the national defense of the entire region. Canada's not been contributing to the safe transport of goods and services across the oceans. Canada has not been contributing to a number of these things. And Canada's not the only one. NATO is a big player in this whole thing. Europe is a big player in this whole thing. And America's like, okay, well, here's the deal. You had your free lunch. Now you all want into the US economy. We're just going to put an entrance fee. We're going to put a small tariff on everything, 10% or less or more, depending on the country. You come to the negotiation table and we'll discuss it. And Canada has been having a temper tantrum since. No other country is doing this. China had a temper tantrum for a bit and then came to the table, and Canada's still there. It blows my mind that this is the position that we're in. This country that I grew up in, that's supposed to be the reasonable, sober afterthought people from the North, and they're the most emotional and vitriolic, and I mean, throw all the epithets you want out there. How did this become this?
It's crazy, man. I think just talking about what happened to the old Canada. I mean, that's a big part of our why too, right? I say it all the time is we miss the old Canada because it's not the place that I remember growing up in. And I'm sure you feel the same way. You've moved to Texas now, so you did it for a reason. And I'd love to hear some of the reasons that you guys picked that state, first of all, but also the US and why you made the move when you did.
Oh, okay. Well, you're talking to me now. Okay. All right. Yeah. So, well, the reason why we chose Texas, I'm guessing you haven't chose a place yet.
Florida.
Okay, you have chose Florida. Okay, we'll go over why you chose Florida. So I chose Texas. I had my heart set on Texas. I've had my heart set on Texas. This is going to be so lame. People are going to call me like names in the Dixie Chicks years ago had an album that came out, and I liked it. I liked the album. Whatever. You don't like Dixie Chicks, go screw yourself. In fact, they got a lot of crap after that album because they made some comments about Bush. I didn't really care one way or the other on that, but I remember listening to the album. I thought it was good, and looked at the in thing, the in sleeve, and it was a map of Texas, and it was a close up, and my name stood out in the middle. There's a place in Texas called Clyde, Texas. And I'm like, I gotta go there. That's just like such a cool thing that I saw that, and I was like, I wanted to learn more about Texas. I started learning more about the culture and country music, all things like that. Because I was in the punk rock scene when I was younger, and the big thing in the punk rock scene, I never understood this, was they all hate country music. Like everything else is fine. Like the Clash went disco, and you're fine with that, but country music's like where you draw the line. And I'm like, I like a lot of country, especially the old outlaw country, Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, that kind of stuff. Awesome stuff. And so I started learning more and more about it, and what people are like in Texas. And another thing, like the punk rockers all turned into socialists. I was like, fucking what?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I just fell in love with the state. Now, I've fallen in love with a lot of America. It's not just Texas. I fell in love with the founding. On my bucket list is like to do the Liberty Tour. I don't know if you ever heard of this, but you follow in the footsteps of the founding fathers, and you go to all the places where they visited. So, you're in Washington, you're in Pennsylvania, you're in all these places. And it's a really, really cool thing. It's on my bucket list. But when we decided we got to get out of Canada because it's a hellhole, can't stick around, and don't want to put my kids through that. Like, well, where do we go? And we looked at the situation, and I was like, okay, the freest places, right? Florida, Texas, or Arizona. Those were like the three I chose. I said to the wife was like, Arizona's off the table, too hot, desert, not doing it. Florida, she considered it, but then was like, hurricanes, no way,
Yeah.
not happening. And then we're like, okay, Texas. And I'm like, yeah, this is great. And for me, I was leaning on Austin, great opportunities for podcasting, all of this other stuff. I love the comedy scene, love that. People often tell me like, but it's lefty, it's crazy. Yeah, well, I want to be where the conversations are having. I want to be where the conflict is going down. And the Congress is right there in Austin. I want to be a part of that when they try to bring in legislation for temporary foreign workers that the Democrats are trying to bring in to ruin jobs for children and youth like they did in Canada.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be there screaming at the top of my lungs, right in the in the ledge there, right in the Congress, to make sure that doesn't happen. So my wife on the other side, she's from Japan, and she's like, well, where are there like, Japanese community stuff, like where Asian stuff going on? Because she still want to keep the kids with the roots and all that, and it happens to be in the Austin area. So we landed on Austin, and yeah, love that. What are your thoughts? Why would you move?
No, that's awesome. Texas was second on our list. And I lived in California and Arizona. So we had a couple different states to compare it to. California is just like moving to Canada, right? So
It's nicer, the best weather though. I mean, like
oh, amazing. Southern California is incredible. Like you can literally be on the beach, in the mountains, in the desert, all within an hour and a half of your center point, which is crazy. It's got so much to do, but it's so expensive, and the politics are a little crazy there as well. So
I still tell people though, like if you think Canada's bad, go to the most conservative place in Canada. It's Alberta. You're still paying more taxes and you're still less free than the most liberal place in the country, California.
Right.
Los Angeles County. You can still own handguns for self-protection. Your taxes are still much lower. So like all metrics, it's even the most conservative place in Canada is lefter than the leftist place in America. That's crazy.
100%. I mean, yeah, no handguns anymore here. Like you can't even buy them in Canada anymore. And they have C9 coming out now with the hate speech laws. So who knows where they're going to go with that, which is crazy. So I mean, we can't get out fast enough. But in terms of Florida, like we Jen and I love Florida. So the wife and I, we've traveled down there alone. We've traveled down there with the kids. We always made sure we would go in August so that we could handle the humidity and the weather, right? Because it is crazy. Different heat than Arizona or Texas. The humidity is kind of off the charts. But we like it. We like it a lot. And like you said, why you moved, it's really for the kids and what we see for them over the next 20 years. Like people who are making a move like this aren't looking at the next 3 years, regardless of what the crew here in Canada likes to say in the comments. You're not making a move like that based on that one thing. You're looking at the next 20 years of your life and what you see for your family and for your kids. And that opportunity in Canada, we love the old Canada, but I just don't see it here anymore. And Florida for us, the weather, we have friends there who will be great support for us to get rolling and get going again. Mom's in Arizona, sisters in North Dakota. So it'll be nice to reconnect with them. They'll get to see their grandchildren more. And we love having the beaches. We're not going to be on the beach because, like you said, the hurricane insurance and the flood zones and things like that. Some places might not even be insured. So a little bit more inland towards central Florida. So close to kind of everything for the kids, just things to do year round. As you know, you're down there, you can do things year round now. You're not scraping the windows. You're not digging yourself out every few couple days, and it's just completely different lifestyle. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm just getting used to it. We haven't been here that long. Uh, Florida heat. I haven't seen the Florida summer heat. I'd like to experience it. I'm guessing it's gonna be a lot like the Japanese heat, like in Tokyo, just humid. In
yeah.
fact, the wife was out in the heat the other day. She's gardening, and I'm like, it's hot. She's like, yeah, but it's not like Tokyo, so I'm okay with it. And she's got all her sun protection on.
That's awesome.
I'm like, okay, cool. Well, we're happy then. We've got it.
So
But yeah,
more of a dry heat, I guess, there.
it's not that dry though.
Not like Arizona?
No, not at
No.
all. No, and not even like Calgary. You go to I couldn't even believe it. I went to an event in Calgary where they had this big speaking event, and they asked me to come be the MC. So I went out to that, and it was like a 3-day event. And at the end of it, we all went out for drinks at the Calgary casino. And so I'm sitting there, I'm nursing a drink, and then somebody buys me a drink, a Corona, and the Corona sits on the table. And I'm like shaking my head. I'm like, there's something wrong with this Corona. What's going on with this? And then it dawned on me. I'm like, it's not sweating. It looks like a hot Corona. It looked like a warm bottle of Corona. And I picked it up. It was ice cold. And I called over friends. I'm like, do you see what's wrong with this? And yeah, it's an uncanny thing. You wouldn't never expect it, because even in places that are not that humid, like everything sweats.
Right.
A cold drink will always sweat. But yeah, no, not in that kind of dry. And then what do you get? You get like sinus crap because of the dryness. I don't know if I could deal with it.
Yeah, it was definitely different. I would always go back to California in the summers because I think my oldest was just there visiting my mom, 122, 125 or something. They had one of the really, really hot days while he was there. So
Holy crap.
just roasting. Yeah, just roast an egg on the sidewalk kind of a day.
Yeah, I've seen like dumpster lids melt.
Yeah.
I've seen pictures of that. That's just outrageous. Outrageous. So what are your thoughts for Canada though? Like, because we have this whole situation where it's a brain drain. It's a serious brain drain. Canada is trying to import tons of people. I don't see them changing course anytime soon, because any chance that they get, they'll come back and say, wow, we need more people for this. And then they say, oh, well, we're cutting down on the amount of immigration that's coming in, but they're really just cutting down on the projected increases. So they keep bringing tons of people from the third world in. And we're not talking skilled people. We're talking just general laborers or people who don't have any skills in particular, replacing the youth that should be working in the entry level positions, right? And they're just displacing that entirely. It was up until recently where it dropped a little bit, where it's 12.5% unemployment for youth in Canada. It was 14.7%. It peaked at 14.7 at the just in January, I believe it was. Like that's insane. So because of this, people are doing what we're doing, and they're packing up. And whether they're an American citizen and they have the right to go, and it might be a process, or they're just, they've got skills and they can take that opportunity. 120,000 people on the record have left Canada. That's what Stats Can knows about this past year in 2025. When you have threats of an exit tax, they're not telling Stats Can. So like, I'm thinking it's at least 150,000 or more, at least, because they just don't know, right? They don't know. People have just, fallen off the radar. They're not realizing they've actually left the country entirely. So what happens to Canada if all these people leave and all the professionals leave? It's like, I don't know if you've ever read Atlas Shrugged. It's like they're leaving. It's over. What happens with Canada?
Yeah, Ayn Rand. That's a great book. I read that one. But yeah, I know exactly what you're saying because, as I said, it's all about the kids too. Like we have our oldest just turned 14, and I've been trying to help him get a job. Tim Hortons, McDonald's, like we would have when we were younger, right? I think I started at Dairy Queen or something when I was 13 or 14
I
years
worked at a
old.
Timmy's.
Yeah.
When I was a kid. Yeah.
So now you go in there, and I don't even have to say it because you guys already know what's happened. But the youth jobs have been displaced by people that have come into Canada, new immigrants and things like that. So I don't know. And Canada has lost, I forget what the stat is, 40% of the top 1 to 4% of earners already. So that's another one we talk about because they're leaving. And what do we do? Because that's tax revenue, right? That's tax dollars that Canada isn't going to get back. And they're just increasing the taxes here, right? So people are trying to escape the taxes. What's going to happen to Canada if people who want to contribute, people who want to build businesses and employ other people are not finding Canada feasible anymore for their future and for their family's future? I mean, we've been here for 7 generations, and I don't hate Canada. I always say that, but it is not right for the next chapter, and it's not right for the next generations of our family.
Yeah, you've got way more to be attached to than I do at all. I get people calling me a traitor and whatnot. My dad's American. He served in the Air Force, the United States Air Force. My mom's Scottish. She moved when she was a kid, right? Like, I'm a first generation Canadian. Myself and my siblings were the first ones in my family to be born in Canada. Like I'm just as Canadian as half of the people that come from India or whatever. Like I have got so why should I have an attachment? And if anything, the government should be working harder to keep me. And that's the way I look
100%.
at it. Like what do I owe you if all you've done in my lifetime is you've come at me with obligations to pay for debts that the government's accrued for nonsense, sending money to foreign countries and all these other things. And then when in my formidable years, when I finally start a family and get things going, the government wants to turn on me and tell me I've got to take experimental drugs and lock me in my house and put masks on my kids. I got, where's my loyalty supposed to be? Like, where am I supposed to be with that? When I see, the stars and stripes and I see freedom to the South and I have every right to be here. I really love the people of Canada. It's kind of like the Donald Trump when he was saying in his speech where he says, they're really nasty. I love the people of Canada.
Right.
Leadership, they're nasty. And of course they spun that and tried to say that he was saying that Canadians are nasty. No, it's about the leadership. And it's crazy. So where should my loyalties lie in that sense?
Right. I mean, that's a hard one, right? Because you were born here, but I mean, your dad, you said, is American. So, and for me, it's very similar but different, I guess, because I was born here, but we've been here forever. But I went to America and I fell in love with it, right? Like I just, from day one, it was like all stars and stripes, like almost like a Hollywood movie, like just integrated like it was nothing. If I didn't say about or house, they had no idea, right? That's just the way it was when I went down. And I don't know if you get that or not, but it's definitely a thing. And I felt more American than I did Canadian. I always did, and that allowed me to go through the legal process. I went down there, I got my work permit, and then I worked towards my green card, and then I waited my turn in line, and I did my naturalization. I went through the process. And I went to the court in Los Angeles, and I stood with another 400 people in front of the judge, and it was emotional because it was a hell of a process, but it was so worth it. Now the opportunity we're getting to go back and start a whole new life. I mean, starting from scratch at 40 is crazy with 3 kids, and sell the house and sell everything and just go to Florida and start new. But it got to a point here where we said, I think we just waited and waited. We said, maybe it's going to get better, right? It's going to get better. We got the kids here, we got the house here, everything's looking good. We got the jobs, and then the election, right? And then it was like, I don't think it's going to get better anytime soon. Let's do it. So we went down to Florida, and as we were leaving the Orlando airport, my wife looked at me and she just said, "Listen, this is the last time that we leave this place and go back to Canada."
So tell me more about your channel and what you've been doing. So you started with that one video that just went nuts.
Yeah.
And that drove you to do what? Like just get more into doubling down? Like you could have just cowered and been like, too much negative, whatever, I'm out of here. But you went right in, you went full on and didn't stop.
Yeah, so it kind of lit a fire under my ass, I guess, and because I was getting those DMs in the beginning too, from people who were genuinely interested in learning more about the process and interested in watching a family go through it. And I was like, I'm just going to keep making these videos, and I turned off the filtering and I let them all come in, and I just, you breeze by them and you respond to the people who are actually interested and genuinely following the journey. And I started making a lot of immigration videos on what we were doing, and then it just spiraled into so many comments, and I would use those for reply videos because there were so many great questions about, like you even mentioned the car, like what DOT form do you need? What EPA form do you need? So we'd make videos about those. What do you need to do with the dog? What do you need to do with the firearms? All that kind of stuff. And videos just, they kept coming in, and there'll be certain ones that hit, and those are usually related to Canada to the US tension, obviously, but they're relevant to our channel, especially when it includes immigration, right? So yeah, TikTok is where we started, and we post across platforms on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Now we did our first long form video. I posted this morning, which is incredible. So, and that's kind of like our story, because I've had it for 7 months and I was doing YouTube shorts on there, but I was like, I can't tell a whole story, and I can't really explain immigration content in a 60-second short. So I posted that this morning. So I'm going to try and make more of those, and it's just turned into this little project, and then almost like a documentary that people can follow along as we live through it till the point where we finally get there.
Yeah, so the channel is Move to the USA. Make sure our Move to USA. Get on over there. So you're chronically undersubbed on YouTube. So hopefully a lot of the people from this audience head on over. The links are all in the description down below. I've linked to everything except your TikTok. I don't check TikTok, but obviously if you're on TikTok, go check that out. Sorry, the link isn't there.
That's all right.
Everything else is down there. X, Instagram, which I see you have a lot of followers over on Instagram, and that's awesome. I mean, people have, things take off on certain platforms and then not other ones, or they slowly take off on other ones. I'd like to boost the YouTube side of things, absolutely, because that's a great place for people to get like long form sort of stuff, as well as shorts. Shorts do really well on YouTube, but just getting this information out, because I don't think there's enough. Because I looked for it as well when I was first trying to make this move, and I can't do this kind of content. Most people want to tune into my show because I do daily news stuff. So if I wanted to do like this kind of thing, I'd have to do another channel. And now I've got you to recommend to people.
I love it. I love it.
The ins and outs of stuff. Or I could go on your channel and look forward to that actually in the future, folks, because this is probably where I will go to talk about some of the ins and outs of what I went through during this. We'll do this on live streams back and forth. I'll have you on. We'll have other guests on as well. But if you want to see like videos, it'll break it down. Like, this is what I went through. Go on over to that channel, get on over to our Move to USA, because that's where you're going to find that stuff. This is definitely a perfect, niche for you and what it is that you do, because so many people are just, behind on everything. I'll tell you what, like, there is not any good info on this. You go to the USCIS website, it is just a mess. It's what government is. I mean, like, even the greatest country in the planet, in the history of Earth, still has a messy government, because that's what government is. I'm glad that it's a limited government, and that's what helps. And there's separation of powers and all that stuff. But like, holy cow, you go to their website and you just try to find a little bit of information, and you get sent down some serious like rabbit holes. What's your experience with that?
It's the same. I mean, and that's a big part of it too, because when we first looked, I was looking at the processing times for I-130s, which is the family-based spousal petition, and it was 18 months, right? And now it's gone up to like 23 months, which is crazy. That's just for stage one, but you're going through it, and there's pages and pages of instructions on how to file certain portions of that single form, right? And as you know, when you're going through a marriage petition, there isn't just one form. The first form, the I-130 is like 18 pages long. And then you have the National Visa Center, which you're going through 3 government agencies, basically. You're going through the State Department, you're going through USCIS, and then you're going through the consulate. So you're dealing with the agents there at the window. So very, very slow. They haven't moved the front of the line forward since February. So that's kind of where we're at right now. So we're in this weird waiting stage where it's just like, what do we do while we wait? And we're filling our time with growing the community, with packing the house, doing some renovations, getting things ready. You've been through it. You get what it's like waiting, right? So
Hiding in the closet.
it's awful, yeah.
Lights on.
just getting no sleep and just
playing board games.
Yeah. Oh my God.
No, I know exactly what it's like. It's awful. So like I don't know if you knew, but I got rent evicted from my place in Squamish, BC. So the landlord just wanted to make more money, take advantage of the market. We'd been there for 11 years.
Wow.
And he rug pulled us one day, gave us what was it, 60 days notice to leave. And it just so happened to be, he called me the day before we were leaving for Japan for 3 weeks.
Oh, that's brutal.
So I get that, and then I have that, you know that feeling you get, like your stomach drops, you get your heart drops to the pit of your stomach. I had that moment. I'm like, wow, our life just changed. This is gonna change everything. And we looked at our situation, and we're like, wow. So needless to say, yeah, he just left it empty for 6 months and then rented it. That's what he ended up doing with it.
Scumbag.
But yeah, I mean, whatever. People are going to take advantage of the market and the situation. But so we had to move out, and our rent tripled overnight. Like that, it insane, right? So our rent tripled, and our living space halved.
Right.
Overnight, and we're like, this is untenable. We can't do this. We were in a situation where it was like, do we move to another part of Canada where it's just a colder place with a slightly cheaper rent and still crappy civil liberties and all this other stuff? No, we're like, screw it, America, here we go, full bore. But then, yeah, I mean, you wait, and just things are difficult, man. It's so hard.
No, it's crazy. It sounds like you had one moment, like it was almost like that was the turning point for you guys. It was like, what do we do now, right? And then you decided on the US, like, let's try somewhere cheaper, let's try somewhere with better affordability, more opportunity, more freedoms. I mean, the freedom thing is unfolding here week over week. It's crazy since you left. Like the hate speech stuff with the Edmonton police, and then them pulling it down, getting people to
they pulled
on
it
their
down.
neighbors.
They didn't get rid of their program. They just pulled the advertisement for their program down.
Right.
That's all they did. They still have like a snitch line.
Yeah.
If your neighbor says something, and what was it? One of the things was like if people are just too right leaning on the internet or something like that. It was crazy.
No, it's nuts. It's absolutely crazy. It's what's happening here. It's what's happening here. It's why we can't wait to leave.
Oh, I haven't told this story on the internet, but a good friend of mine, and I'm not going to mention his name, in the town that I used to live in, he owns a bunch of firearms. Like he owns like hunting rifles and all this stuff. And he always makes sure that he keeps them safe, and there's no ammunition anywhere near where the rifles are and all of that stuff. But so his kid had like a rifle has been decommissioned. It's like he decommissions them entirely. but his kid had one. I guess he showed another kid that, oh, look, my dad has rifles, and then it was just a passing moment, right? And so the kid goes back to some other parent and says, oh yeah, I saw a gun at kid's house. And then that turned into a whole ordeal. The police called, the school was notified, all of this stuff. And they like it was crazy. Police showing up at doors, and all because somebody owned a hunting rifle.
Absolutely crazy.
Like that's how nuts it is. Like over here, like everybody's got guns. Like, that's a normal thing.
What do you mean you aren't wearing one? Come on.
Yeah. Guns are part of people's wardrobe. But yeah, no, I can't believe like how crazy that is. But that's the culture that's been bred into Canada. And you know, it's progressively gotten worse and worse and worse. And I just don't see it coming back. So like for a long time, I was like, you know, we're going through a shtick, a phase, a whatever. But I don't think that phase is happening. And that's why I've set it out as like my life goal to make sure that socialism is squashed in America. Like this is my goal, because I don't know if I could ever do that in Canada. It's so ingrained. And the average person that I talk to is just like, yeah, socialism is a great idea. You know, healthcare. And it is what it is. But I'm so vehemently opposed to it, like on an ideological level. I studied economics for a number of years, and I put a lot of years into trying to figure this stuff out. And yeah, looking back, I just like I see what Ronald Reagan put forward, and he did a lot of work towards educating people about the dangers of socialism, and then you know it came in McCarthy, Reagan, and now Trump. And I think like a big effort needs to go towards this. And I think Canada has become this example of what can happen when an otherwise intelligible society endorses and adopts a devastatingly awful ideology and implements it like socialism's never failed because it was poorly implemented. It's always failed because it's been faithfully implemented is like where I kind of stand on this. I think that I think people have been sold a really, really bad bill of goods. And I'm talking about good people as well.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of crazy because we have people in our family too have been sold that idea, and they're just so far down that road, if you know what I mean. Like they're so far gone that they don't even see, and that's typical of the older generation because the polls show that. But I think it all started in COVID too, like when families were um, there was so much animosity between families and people not going to Christmases and stuff like that, and that's just continued here because the left has gone more to the left, and the conservatives aren't going far enough to the right, in my opinion. But yeah, the socialism thing in the US though too is a huge thing because the Democrats are literally like banking their money on the socialists. Like it's crazy to me.
Well, they've gone full bore into it.
Yeah.
There's I think it was Schumer who said the other day, oh, it's a Big Ten. It's a Big Ten. No, it's fine. We can accept the like communists. People are literally like, yeah, elect more communists. It's crazy. Bill Maher, who's been in politics and politically incorrect, his show dating back to I think all the way to the 80s. I know it was all through the 90s when I was growing up. And he's finally said enough's enough. I'm done with the Democrats. I can't vote for this. And does that mean he's got to vote for Republicans? Perhaps. He's even said that. Perhaps. I don't know. But I can't, in good conscience, vote for this. It's insane. It's insanity. And you know, some prominent Democrats are walking away. They're walking away, and it looks like the midterms are going to be a shoo-in for Trump and Republicans at this point. Which I'll champion. I'll champion. I'm happy about it. I think the Republicans are doing great things. That Supreme Court ruling that just came out the other day. I don't know if you read about this.
At the natural born right citizenship or the birthright citizenship or a different one?
No, a different one. So that's another one that's like, yeah, like keep people from like scamming immigration and doing that. Like you and I, let's do it the right way. Other people are scamming it, and that's crazy. But no, there's a Supreme Court ruling about the NFA. So guns. So a number of years ago, it was brought about that the Democrats fought for this to put the tax stamp on short barrel rifles, short barrel shotguns, and suppressors because they make your gun go pew pew pew, but they don't. It's just like having a muffler on your car. Imagine banning mufflers on cars. That's just
exactly
a ridiculous thing. But so they put this tax stamp on. They fought it in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court only allowed the regulation because it was tied to a tax, and they said it's not a tax, it's not a regulation, it's a tax. So therefore they allowed it. The big beautiful bill that came out 6 months ago or so and was passed eliminated the tax to zero.
Okay.
It went right to the Supreme Court. It's no longer a tax. It's $0. This is a regulation, and the Supreme Court ruled against it.
Okay.
Basically made the NFA unconstitutional, which is freaking amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah, because that's going to be huge for the firearms industry too. And you know, that'll be, I don't know about your first purchase when you went down there, but it'll be a SBR with a can on it. So that's helpful because what were they, 200 to 250 bucks a stamp or something?
Well, for me, it was a pistol. but I really want to get, it was $200. So if I bought an SBR with a silencer on it, something for home defense, because that's what I'm looking into, you know,
right.
300 blackout, subsonic rounds, like they can shoot subsonic with a can on it. So it's $200 for the SBR, $200 for the can. So now you're looking at $400 and regulation paperwork. You got to do
the trust and all that stuff.
And now you're on a list too, right? So you're on a registry. So they're scrapping the registry. They're scrapping all of this stuff. It's awesome.
It's amazing to hear. That's great. Yeah, I didn't hear about that one.
Yes, it was news just like yesterday or the day before.
That's amazing news. That saves that pays for almost the suppressor, maybe a couple extra magazines too.
well, so here's another thing that I didn't know, and I think this is kind of clever. When I was at Republic Gun Club, I did one video there, and then it did really well talking about misconceptions in gun laws and stuff. Canadians have these massive misconceptions. So I did a interview. They were super happy to conduct this interview. Went in, just asked a bunch of questions, and she showed me around. Came back like 6 months later or so and said, and I was like, yeah, do you guys remember me? Like, yeah, we remember you. Your videos all over the internet. And I was like, I got some other questions. I just wanted to ask some stuff. I was asking about importing guns from Canada, which is a nightmare. And then asked him about the suppressor thing. And the one guy, he told me they're actually glad. Gun manufacturers are glad that suppressors are listed as firearms, which is ridiculous because it's not a firearm. It's just a tube with baffles in it.
Right.
But they're listed as firearms, and because they're constitutionally protected under the Second Amendment.
Okay, got it.
So this is a smart thing that somebody a long time ago did in America, was classify themselves as firearms and not accessories. Because you heard about like bump stocks got banned and other things get banned.
Right.
Because it's not an accessory and it has a register, like it has a serial number as a firearm, they cannot be banned. So this is, once the NFA is gone, it's a constitutionally protected item.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And we all saw there was a shooting in what was it, Idaho,
At the In-N-Out?
At the In-N-Out, and the guy who jumped in to save the day had to correct Stefan.
You see his Instagram videos? Oh my god!
No, I didn't know.
He's out in the desert just shooting and practicing. But I'm talking about like proper like quick stance, quick draws on the AR and everything. It was pretty intense. You got to check it out.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it. We need more Americans training. Like, don't just get the thing, like get out and use it.
Yeah.
Learn how to use it properly, and then if there's ever a situation where it's required, get your ass out there. That's part of the Second Amendment, by the way, is, you know, this idea of a well-regulated militia being ready to fight. That's part of it. So
yeah, and from that video, there was like no hesitation from him at all. And you know what we saw at the In-N-Out, right? And then you look at the ones of him in the desert, it's like it was almost identical, the form and just the way he drew and everything like that. It was quite interesting to see.
yeah, I mean, you go to the gym, learn good form on your lifting. Go to the range, learn good form on your shooting. And make
It's
sure
important for safety too, right? So yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? This has been a great chat. We've gone on to our 2 hour. I usually leave a 2 hour limit. I don't know if you're a Discord user, but after the live streams, we get into the Discord and we, you know, just I make myself available for other people because a lot of people want to chat. There's a couple little super chats in here I wanted to bring up. So Crazy Canuck jumping in with 200 jewels. This is a new thing that YouTube's got. Thank you for the jewels with the jamming thing. Crazy Canuck with another one. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Winiska jumping in with 6 jewels. Thank you so much for those. And you talking too much with $2 says Canada will be the last place to wake up. Well, we're seeing that at this point. It's yeah, pretty dire circumstances. Sasquatch Chronicles with $9.99. Thank you so much. Says old school Albertans and Texans are very similar people. Clyde put this super chat in a fund for a cowboy hat. I've got 2 kicking around here somewhere. Maybe I should wear them on a stream one of these nights. I got a couple old felt hats. I want to get. It's hot though. Texans don't wear felt hats in the summer. Texans wear straw hats in the summer. I need to get me one of them. We've also got Joseph with a 440 jewels. Thank you so much. And one last one from Mr. Speaker. Thank you for that. Remember, for 48 months. That is a very long time. Seconding, putting a double down on that one. Cowboy hat. Howdy, cowboy. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. And honestly, thank you so much, Adam, for coming on the show. Our move to the USA is the channel. Get on over, check it out. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And not just on YouTube, but on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, and am I leaving any of those? X. Get on over to X and check it out, because this is going to be vital information for a lot of Canadians. Maybe not yourself, maybe loved ones, maybe people in your life. You want to get this information out to people, and he's going to be keeping you up to speed on everything about his move, his family's move, and well, just other things that you run into along the way. Snags. And I'm gonna come do live streams on your show. Why don't
I would love that? I would love that. Yeah, we're gonna start a podcast too, because you know I want to interview people who are going through it, who have been through it, doctors, lawyers, people from the bridge like you talked to, Sandro, and you know, just everybody who's been involved in it, real estate agents, so that Canadians can actually hear what it looks like to make a move like this from people who have done it, like yourself. You're doing it too. You're getting the word out there, and you know, just documenting everything as we live through it, whether that be the good, the bad, the waiting, the mishaps. I think it's all important for everybody to see that it's not just you pack your bags and you show up and the palm trees and sunshine are there. So I really appreciate you having me on. I really do. I loved meeting your audience. It was nice looking at some of these comments. I've been watching them because it's nice seeing positive comments for once. So,
so yeah, there's a lot of positivity in the live streams. You gotta be at it for a while to filter through all the hate And the hateful people, they get sick of it, because you know what I do? I'll address it and dismiss them. Like, because sometimes you just really need to, like, people will jump in there, they say the same old epithets over and over again, and then every once in a while you just address that, and guess what? People don't like to be pushed back against. It's
No, they don't.
funny. And that's why I hide behind anonymity when they do it.
It's always somebody with no profile picture or stock username, right? So
it's exactly how it is. So anyway, ladies and gents, thank you for joining us again on another Friday night live stream. This is amazing. Adam, stick around because I want to chat with you still afterwards. But we're going to say goodbye to the chat for tonight. We'll see you all Monday morning. We got some shorts that are going to come out throughout the weekend, and you guys can all enjoy those. But as for the morning videos, that'll be Monday morning. I'm going to take my kids to church on Sunday, and we're going to go have a good all day out at the farmer's market tomorrow. So everybody, as Lainey is saying here, stay hydrated. Good night, everybody.
take care.